NASCAR might be taking a trip to the Daytona road course a year early, and a former Formula One world champion reunites with a good old friend of his. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another episode of Inside the Lines. My name is Jack Krause, and thank you so much for tuning in for today's episode. As you can see, beta's gone. A lot of stuff is moving right now. Still in the moving stages. Hopefully, this might be the last video I'm doing in this area. The next episode will be at the new place, which I'm very excited to show. But yes, we have three stories to talk about here today, so let's not waste any time and jump into it. The first story revolves around Fernando Alonso. Now, since leaving Formula One full-time at the end of the 2018 season, Alonso has gone out and done numerous things outside the world of F1, like for example competing in world endurance races, winning the 24 Hours of Le Mans, competing in the IndyCar series and the Indy 500, and also doing some off-road racing. Well, it was reported today, more than likely will be announced tomorrow, that Fernando Alonso will return to Formula One and will return to his former race team, Renault F1. Now, this was something that I guess was brewing. Not many people, I think, would have expected it to officially happen, but many people had Alonso on their radar in returning to F1. For some reason, Cyril decided, hey, let's bring back some 39-year-olds instead of going for a young driver that you could actually develop and have for years to come. All I'm saying is that if it weren't for what happened back in Spa, Hubert would have taken that place 100%. But yeah, Alonso will be replacing Daniel Ricciardo to team up with Esteban Ocon for the 2021 season, as Ricciardo will be leaving Renault to go to McLaren, replacing Sainz. Lots of silly season stuff already happening in F1, and we're not even 2 races into the season. And this is interesting because this will actually be Alonso's third stint at Renault. He first came into Formula One with Renault from 2003 to 2006, then left to go to McLaren for 1 year, to return back to Renault for 2008 and 2009. Here's a look at his full stats of his time in Renault. 105 races, 16 wins, 41 podiums, 16 poles, nearly more than 1,000 laps led, and of course, a 2-time Formula One world champion back-to-back back in 2005 and 2006. Honestly, again, on one side, I'm Alonso. I like Alonso, glad that he's back, but at the same time, I really wish they would have gone for a younger driver, a driver that they could develop. They have people from their driver academy program that they can use to build up to be part of for the long run in Formula One. Having Alonso there, more than likely, he's just going to be there for a couple years. He's not going to be there for the long run, so I really don't. On one side, I get it. Alonso, Formula One world champion, but at the same time, it's like, you could have gone for a younger driver. Now, I've seen a lot of people on social media say, wait, I thought Alonso was getting ready to run the Indy 500 with Arrow McLaren. Well, he can actually, because remember, the Indy 500 and Monaco Grand Prix are no longer run on the same day. I believe the Monaco Grand Prix is either ran the week before or the week after the Indy 500. So he can still make both the races. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Honestly, I'm like 50-50 on the change. What are you guys' thoughts in the comment section down below? Do you think this is a good move by Renault? Do you think you like the move they made to pick Alonso? Or do you think they should have gone with a young driver? Next up is Tyler Reddick. Now, Tyler Reddick, he was a driver that many people were talking about yesterday on social media after he made a tweet basically digging Trump through the dirt after President Trump made a tweet basically sort of forcing Bubba Wallace to apologize for the noose incident. I'm not going to dive into that. You can just watch yesterday's video if you want to catch up on everything you need to know about that situation. Well, I want to say 2 hours or so after that, he deleted that tweet, and many people were wondering why. Did he delete it, or was he forced to delete it? Well, he answered that question today on an interview with John Roberts on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, and I'll just let you come up with your conclusion after you listen to this.
Well, I think first off I should say is I stand by my comments on Twitter and their support for my friend Bubba Wallace and fellow competitor, and the direction that NASCAR is moving. So that was the beginning of it, but after reading the president's tweet, I responded emotionally, and soon after I quickly realized what what posted was becoming extremely polarizing. So being a young, confident rookie driver in the Cup Series, I did not want to create more division. It's important that what we need now more than ever is unity. We need less barriers between us, not more. So the conversation around our sport should be more focused on how to support each other and be inclusive. We want everyone to be able to enjoy NASCAR. So I'm extremely proud of the steps we've taken since returning to racing to become more inclusive, and again, I stand by my comments and their support of Bubba Wallace and the direction that NASCAR is moving forward. You know, after having many very in-depth conversations with men and women at RCR, the decision was made to delete the post from Twitter.
Yeah, to me that sounds more like RCR, and by men and women at RCR, more than likely Richard Childress forced him to take down that tweet, which is very disappointing because, I mean, what he was saying is what majority, if not all of us, were feeling. You know, it's like, hey, can you like worry about something else? Stop worrying about this. So he was sort of speaking for a lot of us, if not everyone, and the fact that he sort of made him take down a tweet, very, very disappointing to say the least. All I'm saying is this. Yesterday, Bob Pockrass said 5 drivers could potentially replace Jimmy Johnson. Tyler Reddick was one of those drivers. Reddick, you deserve the 48 car. I'm just saying that right now. You deserve the 48. All right, get out of Richard Childress. Go to the 48 car. You'll be respected a lot more there. And finally, our last story on this episode revolves around the future of NASCAR in the 2020 season. Now, one race in particular that many fans were concerned about was Watkins Glen, as it's taking place in New York. Yes, that was really the epicenter of this pandemic was New York. Yes, it has gone down, but things are starting to pick back up, it seems. And people were wondering, okay, are they going to be racing at Watkins Glen? If not, where? Well, NASCAR requested a quarantine waiver in order to be able to race at Watkins Glen, which is part of their schedule. But now, according to Adam Stern, it seems like it's very unlikely that will happen. And if it's confirmed that NASCAR will not race at Watkins Glen, NASCAR has said that they are potentially looking at the Daytona road course to replace the Glen. Now, the Daytona road course was originally supposed to make its debut to NASCAR in the 2021 Busch Clash, but now it more than likely could be pushed back to a year earlier, 4 or 5 months earlier, to replace Watkins Glen. And honestly, on one side, I like the move because a Daytona road course, something never been done before. Very cool to see that happen, specifically for a points race, see how that will play out. But at the same time, I felt like there could have been other options. You look at a track like Road America that the Xfinity Series is also racing on. You could have done that. I mean, that would have been, I think personally, Road America is a much better track than Daytona, at least for NASCAR specifically. Because Road America and Xfinity have put on some bangers. Almost every year, Xfinity has put on a banger race for that track. So I think it would have been, I think it's a great opportunity to at least test it out. Okay, let's try it out. I mean, you're going to have 2021, you're going to open up to new options. Why not test out Road America for the Cup cars? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Honestly, I think it'd be a great idea. Or another track. I've heard some people say Road Atlanta, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. But you could have picked other racetracks. I don't think the Daytona road course, again, I like the idea. I like it, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, Road America would have been a much better option. But hey, we'll see what happens from here on out. But that's it for this episode of Inside Line. Sorry if it was a bit quick. I want to get through this episode because still got a lot of stuff going on. I actually had to stop packing because I had to get this news out for you guys. I stopped packing, stopped moving, just for you guys. So if you can, please leave a like and tell me in the comment section down below what are your thoughts on any of the 3 stories I talked about. What are your thoughts on Alonso returning to Renault and Formula 1? What are your thoughts on Reddick basically being forced by Richard Childress or Richard Childress Racing to take down that tweet? And finally, what are your thoughts on NASCAR potentially replacing Watkins Glen with the Daytona road course? Love to hear you guys' thoughts on that. But until next time, my name is Jet from MDK, and I'll see you guys next time.